Alright, well, it's been quite a while since I have done a Sudoku on the channel, and so I thought I'd do one of those today. This was actually sent to me several months ago by someone named Derektionary, or Derektionary, depending on how you want to pronounce their name. But this, I thought this was a neat idea. It's diagonal sandwiches, so if you're not familiar with Sudoku, that's perfectly fine. So I will explain how it works. So basically, Sudoku is you're filling the grid with numbers, and you can't repeat a digit in a row, or in a column, or in one of these 3x3 boxes. That's basic Sudoku stuff. So there's a 1 here, which means we can't put a 1 anywhere else in that row, in this column, or in this 3x3 box. You're putting the digits 1 through 9 in each of those. That's basic Sudoku. Now we have a little bit of an extra thing here with these numbers outside the grid. Now these are sandwich clues, which means they give you the sum of the digits that's sandwiched between the biggest and smallest digit on that diagonal. So this 24 here is pointing at this diagonal. So along this diagonal, clearly the 1 is going to be the smallest digit. Whatever the biggest digit is, let's say it's a 9. Let's say there's a 9 down here. These 3 digits that are sandwiched in between the 1 and the 9 will have to add up to 24. If this was an 8 and it was the biggest digit, these would have to add up to 24. If there was a 2 here and a 9 here, this would be the biggest, obviously, and so it would just be these 2 that are sandwiched between the biggest and the smallest. And that's it. Oh, these the ones with that are kind of blank here with just a line, those are actually zeros. They just, because of the way this system works, you can't put a 0 in there. And then there's some clarification stuff here saying the highest and lowest digit on the diagonal can't repeat, so you can't have like another 1 here because which one would be the lowest digit, essentially. It would be ambiguous, so highest and lowest digits can't repeat, but other digits can on diagonals as long as normal Sudoku rules aren't broken. So I can put a 2 there and a 2 there because they're in different boxes. So I can put those 2's on the same diagonal, but on this 11 diagonal, for example, I couldn't put 2's in both of those. There you go, that's all we need to know. So link in the description if you want to try this puzzle out yourself, and I'm gonna give it a shot now and we will see how it goes. Let's reset the timer and we are off. So, I mean, let's just start here with this 24 because, I mean, if you think about it, we can repeat a digit. These 3 could all be the same digit, right? So they could potentially be 9s, which would be 27, but that doesn't give us much flexibility. In fact, the problem is you can't put a 9 in there because it's the digits sandwiched between the smallest and the largest, and so you'd have to have something larger than it to be on the outside. So actually, the best we can do here is 3/8, which is 24, so, and that's gonna force the biggest digit to be a 9, just because that's the only option. So that's forced, and now we've got the 9 here, which is clearly gonna be the largest digit for the 21 diagonal. Now, I suspect it's gonna be, let's see, we can't do it in 2, I don't think. 2 will be 8. Well, actually 7 is the biggest you can do here. And then you could do, well, you couldn't do a 9 again because you can't have the biggest. So 7 and then 7 because of the 8's here. So that's, in fact, all 3 of these are going to be 7's. That's the biggest they can be because we already have the 8's in the same row here. And that, so the biggest we can do is 3 7's, which equals 21. So now this one, this has more options. It just has to be smaller than 7. It can't be a 1. But it could be 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Okay, which is bigger than the 1? So clearly the 1 here is going to be the smallest on the 15, which means then, what does it mean? This could still be almost anything because you don't necessarily need, I mean, if we had a 9 here, for example, you could just use these 2 for the 15. And this one is kind of irrelevant at that point, because it's not the smallest, clearly, because the 1 is smaller. But it's probably not the biggest either. Is it possible this could be the biggest? I guess that's a good question, right? Could this be the biggest? Let's just say it was 6. Could you do 15 and 3 using digits smaller than a 6? You could do 5, 5, 5. Yep, because you can repeat. That would work. This could be a 6. These could all be 5s. Otherwise, this one has to be the biggest digit, and these 2 would equal 15. Okay, so Not sure on that one other than that yet. 6 here. Oh, well, so we've only got 3 digits, and we have to have the biggest and smallest on the outside, and the one in the middle has to sum to 6, so this is clearly a 6. Now, one of these two has to be bigger than 6. It can't be a 7. And this one can't be, this one up here can't be an 8, and this one down here can't be a 9. So either this is a 9 and this one's smaller, or this is an 8 and this one's smaller. Now 7, oh, 7's interesting because look at this. Now normally you could do the same kind of thing as we did down here with a single digit in the middle, but none of these can be 7s. Well, and plus it would have to be one of the middle two. But none of the 4 can be 7s. So the 2 here have to sum to 7. And these two have to be the bigger and the smaller. Now, these can't be 1 and 6. They could be 2, 5, or 3, 4, though. Now this one could be 9. Otherwise, this one could be, I guess, 5 or 6 to be the biggest, if this was 3 or 4. But one of them is going to have to be a 1 or a 2. If it's 2, 5 in the middle, then one of these will have to be a 1. If it's 3, 4, then one of them could be a 2, I guess. Okay, 11 here, which means the 2 in the middle have to be, because you can't get to 11 in 1, so you've got to use at least 2, and you can only use at most 2, because you still need to have a high and a low on the outside. They can't be 9 and 2, because the 9 would then be the biggest. Can't be 8 and 3, because we already have an 8 in the box. So 7, oh, it can't be 7, 5, because there's already 7s in both of those rows. So this has to be 6, 5, or 7, 7, 4, I guess. But either way, it can't happen. So it has to be 5 and 6. So one of these will have to be bigger than the 5 or the 6. This one, yeah, it can't be bigger than 5 and 6, because you can't do 7, 8, or 9. So this has to be the smaller one, which will have to be 1, 2, 3, or 4. This one will have to be bigger than 5 and 6. Can't be 7 or 8. It has to be a 9. And so now this one can't be 7, 8, or 9. But it could still be 6 and be the bigger one. In fact, no. Could have a 5 still. Yeah, okay. Where do we want to look next? This one, ooh, this one has an 8, which is interesting. Oh, you know what? No, look back up here. So I said that this could be the biggest one, right? Like a 9 or something. And then these two could sum to 15. But that's actually not true, because how do you get 15 and 2? Well, you can do 9 and 6 or 7 and 8. You can't use a 9, so these would have to be 7 and 8. And look, we already have a 7 in both of those columns. So that does not work. This has to be the biggest one, and we have to use all 3, and they have to be 5s. Because the only way to make 3 in 5s with using digits smaller than a 6 is 3 5s, which makes this one a 6 to be bigger than those. So now this cannot be 6, 7, 8, or 9, or 5. This is a 1, 2, 3, or 4. Therefore, it is not going to be the bigger of the two outside digits. So this one has to be a 5 or a 6. This one has to be a 1 or a 2. If this is 2, 5, then it'll have to be 1, 6. If it's 3, 4, then it could be 1 or 2 or 5 or 6. So, oh, this one can't be 5. Look at that, 5, 6. So this is 6. Oh, and 5, 5. No, neither of these can be 5. So these are 3, 4 to equal 7. Now that could still be a 1 or a 2, though. Okay. Nice. So 9. This has to be smaller than 5 or 6. Yep. Oh, the 6 there makes this a 5 and a 6. Very nice. Now, okay, back to this one. I was looking at the 2 column. So the question is that 8 going to be the biggest digit? Well, it's the biggest digit unless there's a 9, right? This one can't be 9. This one can't be 9. It's in the same box. This one can't be 9. It's in the column here. One of those two could be the 9. Now, having 2 as the clue here, that means the 2 has to be between the biggest and the smallest digit. Well, clearly 2 can only be 1 digit. Now you could do 2 1s since we can repeat on a diagonal potentially, but the 1 would then be the smallest digit. So it has to be a 2. So it's got to be smallest, 2, biggest. And the only way to be smaller than a 2 is a 1. So there has to be a 1 on this diagonal. So it can't be there, can't be there, can't be there, can't be there. So this has to be a 1. Okay, and then we have to have a 2 and then the biggest digit. Well, clearly the 5 is not going to be the biggest. So this has to be a 2. The 8 has to be the biggest. We cannot put a 9 on this diagonal. Now, at this point, this is our sandwich right here. So as long as we don't put another 1, which we can't do anyways, another 8, which would be possible. So we can't put another 8 on this diagonal, and we can't put a 9. But otherwise, we can put anything we want the rest of the way along here. Okay, what about the 6? We don't really know much. We have a 6, which is interesting. So potentially, we could have these be the biggest and smallest, and that 6 clue would be satisfied. But this one here can't be 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9 because of all these. So this is, and it can't be a 1. So this is a 2, 3, or 4 just by normal Sudoku rules. So clearly, if this is the sandwich, this one has to be the bigger one, and it can't be 7, 8, or 9. It can't be bigger than 6. This is 3, 4, or 5. No, it can't be 5. 3, 4, or 6. Yeah, just by normal Sudoku, because it has a 1, a 2, a 5, 7, 8, and 9 already. So it's 3, 4, or 6. So this can't be the 6 that's the sandwich clue. So, interesting though. It could theoretically be the bigger digit though, and we could do like 3 and 3 and then a 2. That would work. 6, 3, 3, 2. Can we have a 1 on this diagonal? Can't be there, can't be there, can't be there. Oh, it could be a 1 there. Otherwise, if we don't have a 1, then this one can't be a 2, because it would end up being the lowest digit, and we know that these two can't be the... Well, this one can't be the lowest or the highest digit. If it's the lowest, then our sandwich is going to break. Okay. I was just noticing, though, as I was looking at 1s, we can do just some normal Sudoku here. Put 1 there. 1... Yeah, I don't know that. Okay. What else do we know? What else can we do? Okay, we've done this. One of these has to be bigger than 6. They can't be 7. This can't be. Oh, right, because this was a 9 or this was an 8. And then the other one has to be smaller, which can't be a 3 or a 4. It could still be a 5, I guess. If it was up here, it could be a 5. Otherwise, it'd have to be a 1 or a 2 on one end of the. Okay. Yep. There's a 7 down here. There's an 8 down here. Yeah. Okay. Now we know that this one, the biggest and smallest digits have to be consecutive right next to each other because the sandwich is 0, which means there can't be anything in between. But I don't know if that helps us much right now. Oh, that can't be a 1 right here. So these are 2, 3, 4, and 5. That one can't be a 5. Ooh, so we've got a 2, 3, 4 triple across here. That's interesting. So these two are 1 and 9. Don't know if that does much for us right now. Oh, look at row 7. Where can we put a 9? We can't put it there. We can't put it in any of these. This has to be the 9. Which makes this a 1 and a 2 and a 9. All right, getting somewhere. One of these is a 1. This is 2, 3, or 4. Yeah. Okay. What are these? These are 2, 5, and 8. Which means this is not a 2. For whatever that's worth. Okay. These can be just about, they could be 2, 3, 4, 6, or 7. That's too many options. Okay. 6. What about the 24? Oh, the 24. Yeah. We should look at the 24 because, look at this. We've got a 9. The 9 is the big digit, clearly. So we've already got 8, which means we need to do 16 more. Now, could the 5 be the smallest? We'd have to have 16 in here. They would have to be smaller than 9. So 8, 7, 6 is the best we can do, which is 21. So we can certainly do 16 in here. This one is at most 6, but you could do 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that would work. So that would make the 5 the smallest, potentially, if we had 16 in here. 5 would be the smallest. So that, well, but then the rest of the digits would have to be bigger than 5. This can be a 7. These could be, yeah, like 8 and 9 even. Oh, not 9. You could have 8 and 7, though. 8 and 7 that way. Work. Otherwise, if one of these up here is smaller than a 5, then the 5 would be part of this. This would be 13. And we would need 11 in here, which would be fine. I think that's doable. So 24 isn't helping us much yet. Is there just some normal Sudoku that I need to do? Possibly. Let's see. These are not... Oh, yeah. Look, this is a 1. So there's a 1 up here. 2. There's a 2 up there. 3, 4, 8, 9. These are 3, 4, 8, and 9. Does that help at all? Not really. Okay. Interesting. All right, so maybe back to this one. So we know we have 1, 2, 8. From there, we can do... I mean, as long as we don't have a 1, an 8, or a 9, these could be just about anything. Oh, this one can't be a 5 down here. But... Okay, let's look back at the 6 again. Let's think about this. So, we can't have a 1 anywhere on here. Right. That was one thing that I had said earlier. If we couldn't have a 1, then now that we've got the 1 here, we can't have a 1 anywhere on this diagonal. Sorry, got distracted by Banjo. All right, so we can't have a 1 anywhere on this diagonal. So that means that if there is a 2, it will be the smallest digit. We do not want this to be the smallest digit. This cannot be a 2. These cannot be 2s because we have the 2, 5, 8 triple over here. These cannot be 2s, that can be 2. This is now a 2, which means these can't be 2s, which means this is a 2. There we go. Okay, so we can't have a 2 because the 2 will be the smallest digit if there's a 2 on the diagonal. Now, can we put a 2 on the diagonal? Is there a place we can put it? We can't put it right there. Can't put it right there because the 2 is here. Now, these could be 2s potentially. If there was not a 2, then the 3 would be the smallest digit. And it would have to be a 3, because otherwise this would be... If there's no 2, the 3 has to be the smallest digit, because you can't go to 4, because this has to be a 3 or a 4, and it would therefore be the smallest digit. So... I mean, we could have like a 2, a 6, and then a bigger digit. Yeah. There's still quite a few options there. Otherwise, you can't do 2 and 4. You can do 3 and 3 still. You could do 2, 3, 3, something. It would have to be something bigger than a 6, though. The biggest digit has to be bigger than a 6. So the biggest digit... yeah, it could still be a lot of places. We've got quite a few ruled out here. The 7s are ruled out, but you can put a 7 right here or right here. Okay, these are 3, 4, 5, and 6, I believe. That one can't be 5 or 6, so that's a 3, 4. Okay, where do we look next? Got the ones, I mean, somewhat limited, but... if this was a 1, it would be the lowest digit on the 24, and these would have to be 24. We've already got 13 with the 8 and the 5. That would leave 11. Now, can we do 11? Because look, 3 of the digits between 3, 4, 5, and 6 are already... Oh, hold on. Before we do that, let's look at 2s here. We've got 2s, eliminating all of these. This is a 2. Okay, so now you've got 15, and you need to do 9. These could be 9. And actually, now that we've got a 2 here, can the 5 be the lowest digit is an interesting question. So we've got 8 and 2, that's 10. These 2 would have to be 14. Which isn't going to work. 6 and 8. Oh, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. 6 and 8. Shoot. That does work. This would have to be an 8 and a 6. You'd have 16. Yeah, 24. So the 5 could be the lowest digit. But this would have to be an 8 and a 7. And this would have to be a 7, which unfortunately is possible. No, the 5 can't be the lowest digit. We have a 2. Okay, right now the 2 is the lowest digit. Right. Okay, the 2 is the lowest digit. And we cannot do 24 in these 3. Therefore, the 2 cannot be the lowest digit. We must have a 1. It must be there. All right, so now it's 1 and 9. We have 8, 5, and 2. That's 15. We need 9 more. This has to be 3, 4, 5, or 6 to be the counter. So it's 3, 6, or 4, 5. We now have a 3, 4, 5, 6 quadruple. We also know these 2 are the same. Let's color those. This can't be a 5, therefore, because whatever's here is... So 3, 4, 5, and 6, whichever one is here is the 4th one in addition to these 3. And in this row, this one is the 4th one in addition to those 3. So these 2 must be the same. Okay. And this one can't be a 6 because of the 6 there. So this one can't be 6. So they're 3 or 4. And that 3 or 4 has to also be up here. But these are... Okay, 3. So this is there for 6 or 5. This one can't be 3 or 4 because it has to go with the 3, 4. We have a 3, 4 pair. It's not 3, 4. We have 5, 6 pair. There we go. Okay. Now, what can we do from there? Okay, so we've got the 1 here. It puts a 1 over there in one of those. And now, since the 1 and the 9 are the high and low, these 2 on the outside can be anything except 1 or 9, and the sandwich is still good. So that's not super helpful. Now, these 3 are 7, 8, and 9. This one can't be 7. This one can't be 9. This one can't be 8. And those are on the 6. So, one of these 2 is going to be the biggest. If this is the high, you can't have the 6 this direction, obviously, because these are already bigger than 6. If this is the highest, and you're going this way, the lowest is one of these. Yeah, it's not going to work. This one cannot be the highest one, so it can't be 9. It has to be 7, which makes this 8 and 9. Now, clearly this 8 is going to be the highest digit unless we have a 9. 9 can't be there. You could put a 9 up here. So, let's assume that 8 is the highest digit for a minute. The 6 has to be this way. This cannot be a 6. hold on. These two are 3, 4, and 8. This clearly cannot be an 8. Is there any way that can be an 8? No, because it's either the highest digit on the diagonal, in which case you can't have two of them, or there's a 9 up here, and you've got to have 6 somewhere and a low one, so this can't be 8. That's a 3 or 4. This is an 8. Okay, so let's assume this is the highest digit. We can't do 4 and 2, because we already know that we can't put a 1 on the diagonal, and the 2 would be the smallest. So if this is the high, you've got to do 3 and 3 and 2, which I think would work. 3 and 2, yep, that would work. 3, 3, 2. Otherwise, this has to be a 9 and be the highest digit, and then you would have to have a 6 and 9, 6. This would have to be the lowest digit, which would have to be a 3, and these two would both have to be 4s. Now, if this is a 3, this is a 4, and this is a 3. Okay, these two have to be the same, because, okay, so we call this one yellow, so call this one blue. They have to be, one's a 3 and one's a 4. Well, similarly, you can say this one has to be the yellow. These two have to be the same. So this can't be the low, or there'd be two lows. Therefore, it's got to be the 3, 3, 2. The 8's the high, the 2 is the low. And now that means the blues are 4, the yellows are 3. These two have to add up to 9, so that's a 6 and a 5. This, do we know? Oh, 3 there. 4, 3, 3. These are not 3s, therefore this is a 3. And now everything's starting to come together quite nicely. Okay, so these are 1, 4, and 7. That one can't be 1. The 5 there, 4 and 5. So these two are 6 and 7. These are 2, 4, and 9. That one can't be a 2. If this is a 9, this will have to be the low digit on the diagonal. Okay, what about this diagonal? We can't put a 1 anywhere. So the 2 has to be the low, which therefore makes the 6 the high. So these two have to be smaller than 6, which means they have to be 4 and 5. That's the only options, which means these are 6 and 7 for the box. And the 6 there gives us the order of those. Do we know the 4 and the 5 at all? No, but there's no 7 down here anymore. So that's good. The 5 there. Yeah. The 5 in the row gives us the 4 and the 5 there. These are 3 and 9, and there's a 3 right up there. These are 4 and 8, and there's a 4 down below there. So 8, 4. That 8 gives us the 2. And the 5 up above gives us the 5 and the 8. This is a 6. It's the only thing left in the column. This one is a 9. These are 4, 7, and 8. The top one can't be an 8. The 4 here makes this a 7. 1, 4 pair. 4, 7, 6, 7. Okay. And I think it's just normal Sudoku for the rest of the way here, right? Oh, we've still got the one clue up here that we haven't done yet. And this one... 8, 2, 1. Yeah, so this can be 6 or 7. That's fine. Okay. All right, so what's left in the column here? 5, 6, and 8. This one can't be 6 or an 8. This we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. This one can't be 1 or 2. This one can't be 1 or 3. That one can't be 3. So, so this is the only place for a 3 in the column. 4 and 7 and 9. So close to finishing this off. I'm sure it's a scanning thing with just the regular Sudoku. All right, 1, 4, 7, and 9 across here. This one can't be 1. This one can't be 9. All right, so no, it's probably this clue here, isn't it? All right, so this is clearly the smallest one, right? Oh, in fact, so we have to have something smaller than a 4, because if we have a 4 as our smallest digit, we'll have 2 4s if one of these up here is a 4. And if this is the lowest, this would have to be the highest, so that's not possible. So this has to be a 1 or a 2. Now, this 4 cannot be the smallest. This is the smallest, right? So this one has to be the biggest. Right, this is the smallest. This has to be the biggest because it's a 0 clue. Therefore, this can't be 9. That's the key thing. That one can't be 9. It's a 4. This is a 7, which makes this a 9. And therefore, this has to be the biggest. It can't be a 4. It has to be a 7. 1, 2, and 4. 4, 1, 2. Now it's just some sort of Sudoku. Oh, the 7 there. That's what I need. 6, 7. That 6 gives us the 8 and the 6. The 8 gives us the 4 and the 8. That 4 gives us 2. 1, 4, 9, 2. The 1 down there gives us the 4 and the 1. There we go. Looks good as far as I can tell. Right, because so the way this website works is unless you've inputted the solution, it only checks for the normal Sudoku. So it's not checking for the diagonal stuff. But I'm fairly confident I got that right. So there we go. All right, so I'm pretty sure that is the correct solution. I'll go through and double check, but very fun, very interesting. I don't think I've ever done a diagonal Sudoku before. I know that's probably not the first time, or a diagonal sandwich, I mean. I'm sure it's not the first time it's been done. I don't remember solving one like that before, though. So very interesting. And it was also interesting having it be the lowest and highest and not like the 1 and the 9 or something like typical sandwich Sudoku. So thank you to Derektionary for sending that to me. And let me know what you thought of this. Do you enjoy Sudoku? Do you have no idea what's going on? Would you like to see more of these? Never want to see it again? Just let me know in the comments what you think. And if you tried this puzzle, how'd you do? How long did it take you? Were you able to solve it? And be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon with some more puzzles. And Turl? Oh, look at that. I don't know what Turl is, but it worked. Okay, that was optimal. So we got the S. So this is not W, so it has to be an S or a T, and it's not gonna be SS, so it's gotta be ST. We got some greens. Oh, the E's are there. Okay, so now I'm not thinking E here. It still could be, but I'm not thinking E right there anymore. Okay, awesome.